In the tapestry of human history, moments of profound connection with the divine have woven threads of mystery and wonder. These encounters, known as religious visions, transcend the boundaries of the ordinary, offering glimpses into realms beyond mortal comprehension. But in the corridors of medieval Christianity, the interpretation of these visions took on a complexity shaped by the societal norms and power structures of the time. True visionaries were revered as conduits of divine revelation, believed to receive messages directly from God himself. Yet, in a world where women were often relegated to subordinate roles, the emergence of a female mystic presented a challenge to the established order. For when the vessel of divine vision was a woman, the dynamics of power and authority shifted, raising questions about the nature of hierarchy and the role of gender in matters of faith. Let's journey to explore medieval mysticism, where the boundaries between the sacred and the profane blurred, and the echoes of divine revelation still resonate in the hallowed halls of history. Amidst the tranquil halls of a Benedictine abbey in medieval Europe, a singular woman embarked on a profound spiritual odyssey. Born in 1098, Hildegard von Bingen emerged as a mystic whose visionary experiences defied the limitations of her era. Long before she took her monastic vows, as a child, she began experiencing visions that she believed were from God. Hildegard recorded an account of some of her numerous visions in a trilogy she titled Scivias, which stands as a testament to her divine encounters meticulously recorded at the behest of a heavenly command.
For Hildegard, her visio Dei, or visions, weren't just ecstatic outbursts. They were carefully cultivated encounters with the divine, and they were shaped by medieval theories of optics and biblical interpretation. She believed that she was under the direct command of God, and she recorded her visions to serve as a bridge between the heavenly and the earthly realms.
Hildegard's life was dedicated to the pursuit of humility, obedience, and discretion, virtues she considered the bedrock of her spiritual path. But what set Hildegard apart was not just her devoutness, but her profound insights into the convergence of theology, science, and the natural world. Through meticulously written descriptions and intricate illustrations, Hildegard presented her visions as a blend of scientific and religious understanding, echoing the teachings of Saint Benedict. Supported by her contemporaries like Bernard of Clairvaux, Hildegard completed Scivias in 1151, leaving behind an enduring legacy that continues to inspire scholars and seekers alike. But how did medieval perceptions of the natural world intersect with Hildegard's mystical experiences? Scholars like Robert Grotestus and Roger Bacon proposed theories of light and optics that mirrored Hildegard's divine illumination.
So we really need to talk about Grotestus' theory of light as the primary form, along with Bacon's insights into vision. Those two perspectives provided a framework for understanding how divine light permeated the mind, which was necessary to catalyze profound spiritual transformation.
However, Hildegard's visions weren't just abstract concepts. They were rooted in theological discourse and artistic expression. The bronze doors of Chartres Cathedral, crafted under the guidance of Abbot Suger, serve as a primary example of how medieval theology was translated into tangible symbols.
Suger's poetry espoused the idea that worldly elements could elevate the mind towards true enlightenment, which mirrored Hildegard's quest for spiritual illumination.
In the medieval worldview, the natural world was understood through a combination of theological and scientific frameworks. Vision was thought to occur through the interaction of extromission and intromission, where light rays were absorbed by the eye, traveled through the brain's internal senses, and were processed into images and thoughts. This understanding of vision reflected the medieval perception that the natural world was governed by both divine and physical principles. Jacob's ladder, symbolizing ascent and descent between heaven and earth, resonates within Hildegard's visions, where divine light descends to uplift the soul. Through the ladder of virtues, Hildegard portrays the soul's ascent towards union with the divine, guided by God's radiant grace. When confronted with phenomena that defy conventional understanding, individuals are compelled to articulate their experiences within the framework of prevailing cultural norms. This requires the use of familiar paradigms and linguistic constructs to render novel experiences comprehensible to others, to convey the ethos of the unfathomable.
When I was 42 years and 7 months old, heaven was opened, and a fiery light of exceeding brilliance came and permeated my whole brain, and inflamed my whole heart and my whole breast, not like a burning, but like a warming flame, as the sun warms anything its rays touch.
Although other mystics also recorded their encounters with the divine, Hildegard wrote more prodigiously than any of them about the number of instances where God demanded that she write down her experiences and speak boldly of them. Speaking boldly was not an action that conformed to the medieval feminine ideal, which upheld women as passive figures.
Hildegard is able to operate outside of traditional gender constructs because she's validated both theologically and scientifically. As a papal-approved prophetess, she had the social authority to voice her experiences to the world at large.
Anthropologists understand religious beliefs to be a human system that creates a template for behavior and constructs meaning for people through the use of powerful ritual and symbols. Sociologist Emile Durkheim believed that religion builds connection between people by creating a shared worldview that categorizes all things as either profane or sacred. This dichotomous way of classifying the world unites people around a shared identity while simultaneously reinforcing social hierarchies. That hierarchy prioritized Hildegard's sacred role as a divine vessel over her profane womanhood, which meant that she wasn't required to conform to traditional gender ideals, nor did she need male approval. Gender identity wasn't binary in the medieval period. Other individuals like Hildegard were able to use systems of religion to be more fluid in their gender identities, like St. Joan from the 13th century. It's important to acknowledge the intersectionality of religion, science, and gender in the medieval period. It creates multiple axes of identity that interact and overlap, redefining for these individuals what was normal and allowable. To become a mystic, the medieval devotee had to follow a doctrinal cycle to obtain union with God. Emptying or being emptied through kenosis of the via negativa allows one to become divine. In order to achieve ascension, the devotee must be emptied, must let go of all attachments.
In front of this image stood another, a child wearing a tunic of subdued color but white shoes, upon whose head such glory descended from the one enthroned upon that mountain, that I could not look at its face. But from the one who sat enthroned upon that mountain many living sparks sprang forth, which flew very sweetly around the images. Also, I perceived in this mountain many little windows, in which appeared human heads, some of subdued colors and some white.
In another section of Scivias, Hildegard herself describes how she experienced the intersection of religion and gender norms, and how profane gender identity was subordinate to her sacred role as prophetess.
O you who are wretched earth and, as a woman, untaught in all learning of earthly teachers, and unable to read literature with philosophical understanding, you are nonetheless touched by my light, which kindles in you an inner fire like a burning sun. Cry out and relate and write these, my mysteries that you see and hear in mystical visions. Therefore, O diffident mind, who are taught inwardly by mystical inspiration, speak of that fiery work this sure vision has shown you.
In her journey towards spiritual ascension, Hildegard navigated through the intricacies of gender and religious expectation. She carefully cultivated her records of her visions, shaping them by both theological discourse and scientific frameworks of the time. Due to the cultural intersectionality of religion and gender, she was able to retain divine authority in her works that lent them a credibility in the eyes of the monastic world.